this fight was coming up, the whole city was very torn. They were very torn on Adesanya and Whittaker. And the Australians felt as though they must say, I think Whittaker's going to win, and I predict that he would win. So then I had to kind of do the dance and go, okay, now hold on a second. Do you think Whittaker's going to win, or do you feel compelled to back him because you're Australian, he's Australian? And a lot of them said they kind of look left and look right, make sure nobody could hear him, and go, the second one, yeah, I feel compelled to back our guy. Well, for me, that's a cool thing because we don't have that in America. I don't know a damn thing about it. I never experienced it as an athlete, but I don't do it as a fan either. In North America, we do not back our guy. It is not the American versus the Brazilian or the American versus the Russian or, the World Cup's going on. So, we look down our nose at the British all week. It's nothing like, we don't have anything like that. We will cheer for whoever we want to cheer. They could come, you could be in their hometown and you would boo them if somehow you thought these other guys were cooler. That's just the way it is. So to be around some of these nations that have this type of pride is an interesting thing. And I always find it to be a very cool thing, but it's also not something that I've ever got to experience firsthand. I walked into arenas in America against somebody from somewhere else. I'm the one getting booed. I never thought it was weird. Didn't hurt my feelings in the least. That's the way it goes. If I was a fan, I'd do the same thing back, right? We just don't have that in America. So the fight is upon us. All right. 57,126 people walk into Marvel Arena to witness this match. And there is a lot of things on that. Let's start at the beginning. Robert Whittaker has been out. Like it or not, want to talk about ring rust, want to act like ring rust isn't a real thing. Either way, I think we can at least agree we don't get better at doing something by not doing it. And by the way, when he was out because he was injured. He shattered his hand in the Yoel Romero fight. That takes a meaningful amount of time before you can get back to throwing punches. And when you're in the business of throwing punches, it's relevant. He was out for a meaningful period of time. And meaningful period of time is the best that I can do for you. I don't know how long that stomach and the intestinal issues that he had that thwarted the Gastelum fight the night before. That, by the way, Whittaker tried to fight through. They take him to a hospital via ambulance and told him he almost died. He says, somebody get me my trunks and get me to the arena. I mean, right? Tough guy. But he'd been out. Does that matter? Does being out and walking back at 57,000 people matter? And you can ask anybody you want ahead of time. They may give you a real truthful answer. They may give you the tough guy answer. They're likely to give you the answer that they wish was the real answer. But they can't answer the question direct because you don't know, because they've never done it, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to walk out in front of 57,126 people supporting you and backing you, or against you and cheering opposite, is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Oh, and we should include, by once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, most people in a lifetime will never have that opportunity, but the one or two guys that do have it, it will never happen again. So to ask somebody ahead of time to project how they're going to deal or how they're going to feel emotionally going into an environment that has never been created before, it was a record-setting gate. It's tough. So what do as fans? We listen to them and then we go, well, but not so fast. Or, I'm not really sure about that. I mean, this is what we do. We get a conversation going. I spoke to Whittaker before the fight. And I brought you guys this on YouTube, but I haven't brought you it to your welcome yet. So for those of you that haven't heard, but this was a very interesting part of fight week for me. And I asked Whittaker that question. What's that going to be like? And he goes, oh man, it's an opportunity. I'm pumped. I can't wait. He had a big smile on his face. He looked very genuine and sincere. I said, Robert, it is interesting because so much has been made of this fight and your return and Adesanya, but so much has been made about the dynamic that goes into fighting in such a huge, massive arena in front of this kind of a crowd. And I said, but let me ask you something from the exact opposite end of the spectrum, which is your experience to the Ultimate Fighter. And that's where I became familiar with Robert Whittaker. But that is where you guys became familiar with him. It's the same question, but reversed, which is fighting in front of more people ever, or fighting in front of your smallest crowd ever, because that's what the set of the Ultimate Fighter is. There is 20 people there. Of those 20 people, they are staff only. It's the guy with the camera. It's the guy with the microphone. It's the guy that tells you when it's your time to walk. It's a couple of producers that are watching. You have a teammate. You have a couple of opposite teammates. There is no walkout music. There is no Bruce Buffer. There is no Joe Rogan. There is no John Anik. It is dead silence. The referee says, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And you hear every word he says. Normally in a fight, you guys can hear that at home. The fighters can't hear it. Ref looks at you. He says something. When his mouth goes shut, you just know to say yes. Robert Whittaker had a fight in The Ultimate Fighter in front of nobody. It's the exact same scenario of awkwardness, of opportunity, of I must win, but reversed. And he did very well. So I said to him, what is going to be weirder, the 57,000 or the 20? He goes, and he didn't need a second to think. He goes, the 20. He goes, that was so, I could remember hearing my opponents breathe. I could remember getting hit in the body. And I go, and I knew my opponent could hear it. I didn't want him to hear it. I could remember the leg kick. I could hear it. Was terrible. And then even the announcements for the celebration, there was no yeah and cheer, and the music starts playing and buffer over your shoulder. He goes, it was so weird. And he goes, I know if I could get through that, I could get through this. That was hard. This is an opportunity. And when he told me that, I believed him. Okay, that makes sense to me, and I believe you. Now, I don't need to ask that question of Adesanya, because I know how it's going to affect Adesanya, right? I've been in this sport for 22 years. I know exactly how it's going to affect him. Not good. Those people are not there just to see him. They're largely there not to see him. This is 57. This is championship rounds. This is the baddest dude in the world. And I'm talking about Whittaker, that he's got to walk out there and face. Oh, and I should add, he's the B-side. Oh, and I should add, everywhere he goes, he's getting called out. Oh, and I should add, a guy that wants to chop his head off with an undefeated record named Paulo Acosta is sitting in the very front row. Oh, and you might want to take into account that Dana White has been telling anybody that will listen that his reward for getting past Whittaker is getting locked in there with John Jones. I mean, I don't need to ask him how I know how he's feeling, right? Let's get this over with. Well, turns out those 22 years of experience that I thought I knew about the sport, I met somebody new, because when it's Adesanya's time to walk, he puts on a show. He puts on a dance routine that was choreographed with 3 of his lifelong childhood buddies who he wanted to extend a part of this experience to them as well. I thought it was a very enlightening, even a privilege. I think he gave us the privilege of showing us who he is, not only as a person, but as an athlete. I took more from that damn walkout than I took from anything. He didn't surprise me in the cage. I've seen him whip ass before. I've seen him knock guys down before. I've seen him push. I've seen him be dynamic. I've seen him be elusive. I've seen him be weird. To see him be that calm, to see him to be a guy that could enjoy the moment, I must share for you, I really have one regret in my career, my entire career. I didn't enjoy any of it. It went by like that. Clayton Hires used to tell me every day, champ, try to enjoy this. I'm cutting weight. I've got to go run. Then I got to go spar. I got to go to bed sore and tired. I got to get up. Eventually, I got to get on a plane, get locked in a cage with a trained killer. I mean, Clay, what part of this am I going to enjoy? And he said, all of it. Got to enjoy all of it. He goes, it goes by like that. Well, he was right. It did. It went by like that. And I never got to smell the roses. So I'm watching Adesanya. I'm watching him enjoy the moment. I'm watching him do everything I wished I would have done. The ones that you look up to, the ones that go on to be the stars and the icons, the ones that when you're a little kid, you go get a poster of and put them on your wall. They're just simply guys who are doing something that is almost fantasy to you. Something that you would inspire to be like. And for me to watch somebody walk out and enjoy the moment and have fun, on top of having incredible skills, on top of an outcome that favored you. And then to also see somebody that understands, okay, the sport is now done. The competitiveness is now done. But the business begins. And he grabs a microphone and he sets up what's next. In fighting, if you are going to be in this business, there is nothing more important than having another fight. That's it. That's the game. People walk around and say, I want to be undefeated. Yeah, that'd be really great. If you were to question them deeply, why do you want to be undefeated? They would say, okay, you don't want to know why I want to be undefeated? Because there's kind of a history in this. If you lose 3 fights in a row, you get cut. And this is what I do for a living. I really don't want to get cut. It would mean I'm out of a job. Okay, great. So what it really comes down to is in this job, just to make sure that tomorrow when you wake up, you have a job. Yes. Yes. That is the answer. That trumps everything. So for Izzy, I get it. He's the champion. I get it. He's the new face of the company. I get all of these things. He doesn't. He does not understand what it was that he pulled off. He was out there to do something different. And it started with a walkout where he wanted to include guys that he came up with. That was important to him. Don't forget where you came from. Pass it back. Pay it forward. Loved it. I thought it showed us a lot of who he is as a person in a very positive way. Okay, the skills. Not stunning. In fairness, anybody that can get the jump on Robert Whittaker deserves a ton of credit. But as far as seeing Izzy go out there and just perform a dynamic matrix that his opponent just can't solve. Yeah, I have seen him do that before. To watch him then go right in to the business side, which is to set up what's next. How many times, guys, have we seen a champion? Have we seen a guy become champion? And the moment he does, he turns the gun right back on everybody, on all of us who have cheered for him, on all of us who have covered him in the media, all of us who have sat down and pushed the button and purchased and helped contribute. On the promoters, the companies, the boys in the back, everybody else that has aspired and fighting and has the same dream. How many times have we seen them point the gun back, go, I'm the champion now? Well, who do you want to fight? Well, sit down and talk. I'm the champion now. Everybody's coming for me. All different ways to guise their real message, which is transparent and boring and underhanded, which is, let's see what Dana wants to pay me now. That is the most underhanded way you could go about it. Absolutely is. You beg for an opportunity, you get it, you succeed at your opportunity. Business stop. Everybody now has to stop while you point the gun. Well, when I ask you how many times have we seen it, guys, how many times have we not seen it? That'd be a lot easier question to answer because it is one. Saturday, Israel Adesanya. No, where's Dana? No, let's have a contract. Let's sit down and talk about talking. There's a guy in the front row, Paulo Acosta. The ratings say he's number one. Many of you fans say he's number one. Somebody flew his ass out here and put him in the front row, hoping that this moment would happen. So, ding, ding. The moment is happening. You, me, venue. Book. Okay. I'm in.
Uncle Chael, Uncle Chael. There's no bad guy like Uncle Chael. Never lost, not even around. Undefeated, undisputed, oh yeah. Here comes the bad guy.